Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Brian Aldies, Secretary-Treasurer of your local union, Teamsters Local 320. And I have with us tonight your President, Sammy Gabriel, your Recording Secretary, Eric Skoob, and your local union's Communication Director and Political Coordinator, Gus Frumke. I want to thank all of you for joining the call this afternoon. Your local union's first local-wide Tele-Townhall, and I think we should all be proud to say that we have fantastic participation in the Tele-Townhall from across the entire state of Minnesota. Again, I want to thank everybody for your participation, and most importantly, I want to thank you for all the work you do in your communities across the state of Minnesota. As you've shown, and as we've all seen throughout this current COVID-19 crisis, that you truly are the backbone of your communities, the backbone of America, and Teamsters make America work. Tonight's call is an opportunity for you to hear from your local union. You're going to hear tonight about some of the memorandums of understanding and contingency plans that we have with employers across the state of Minnesota, a legislative update, an update from the University of Minnesota, and you're going to hear about benefits that you have available to you from the Teamsters Service Bureau and the Teamsters Food Shelf. It's also an opportunity for your local union to hear from you, and we will all have an opportunity to do that this evening, as there will be a question and answer session. Throughout the current COVID-19 crisis, we've had the opportunity to participate in many different conference calls over the course of the last 2 weeks. Conference calls with the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, the International Brotherhood of Teamsters Public Services Division, and many other Teamster locals across the country. We've had the opportunity to participate in legislative updates regarding the COVID-19 virus, and the opportunity to share with other local unions from around the country to have an understanding of what their response and their members' responses are to the current crisis. Our goal is to continue to share information with you as we get it, to continue to improve how your local union distributes the information that it provides to you, and to continue to provide you the best representation possible. This is an opportunity for all of us to work together, and while we might be working together differently, we're going to continue to work together. As part of that, you know what you will have provided to you from your local union, and we want to share with you an opportunity for you to participate in the process as well. Recently, your local union has sent out a survey to its entire membership via action alert, push notifications, and you can find the survey or a link to the survey on the local union's website under the News tab. The survey is asking you to provide your local union with information regarding communication. How often do you want your local union to communicate with you, and how do you want the information communicated to you? We want to know your understanding about Teamsters Drive, Democratic, Republican, Independent voter education program. We're also asking you to share that survey with your peers. If you or your peers have not downloaded the local union's app on your smartphones, please do so. Download the app, visit the local union's website, and participate in the survey. I'm going to go ahead and turn the mic over to your president, Sammy Gabriel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our town hall meeting. I'm going to give you a brief update on programs that you may or may not know about that are available to you as Teamsters 320 members. It includes the Teamsters Service Bureau, the Teamsters Food Shelf, and a little bit about the updated unemployment insurance process. So first of all, we have a Teamsters Service Bureau. It's run by Jennifer Muntz. and she's brought great direction to the Service Bureau. They provide several things, such as help with benefits, emergency assistance, counseling, and other personal items that you may need. Two things that are very important for you to learn tonight: if you are laid off or furloughed, or if your hours are just cut and you're not working as much as you were before. So there's two things available for you financial-wise with the Service Bureau. You can show need and apply for a food card, a gas card, a transit card, and those are given on an as-needed basis. They also have an emergency Teamster assistance fund. This is for our members that are in good standing. You must apply for it. It's a grant that's given to you. You can receive it once every 3 years, but it is a grant of $750. And that money is used to cover a multitude of things, but including rent, a mortgage payment, medication, health insurance premiums, auto payments, and so forth. So those are two very important monetary help that the Service Bureau can give to you. The food shelves. So I know there's, we have members that are listening from across the state, and our food shelf is located here in our Teamster building in Minneapolis. It's open Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but if we have members anywhere in the state, just be rest assured that any of our business agents and staff would be happy to deliver food from Minneapolis to wherever you are. Our agents frequently deliver food to our members in need, and all that takes if you're in greater Minnesota is a call to your business agent. We can get that set up. If you are in the metro area, it's, again, located in our same building. It's a very easy process. Right now, during the COVID-19 situation, you'll drive into our parking ramp and follow the instructions that are on the door of the food shelf. Please do not go in the door, but it's very specific instructions on the door of the food shelf. We know that a lot of people have kids at home that aren't normally home, and if there's food insecurities in your household, then please make sure you're using our food shelf. Your dues money helps pay for that food shelf, and we're awfully proud of it. It's run solely by Teamster retirees, so it's a great place to take advantage of. One other thing on unemployment. Again, if your hours have been cut, you're furloughed, you're laid off, we know that unemployment, Governor Walz has taken away the 1 week waiting period now. So you're able to apply for unemployment as soon as you have the need. As soon as you're laid off, you should apply for unemployment. It's online, very easy to find when you Google Minnesota unemployment insurance. The other great thing about what's happened is the federal government has infused money into the unemployment system and increased the weekly maximum by $600 additional. So now instead of $750 max for a week, it's up to $1,350. So if you're in those situations, please take advantage of those programs. Reach out to your business agent. If you've gotten a letter of layoff or furlough, make sure you're calling our office. Make sure you reach out to your business agent. We want to know those things as soon as they happen and be there for you when you need our help. Ryan?
Thank you, Sammy, for that information. We're going to go ahead and turn it over to your recording secretary, Eric Scoop.
Good evening, everyone. So over the course of the last few weeks, Local 320 Executive Board, our agents, our legal team, and staff have been active enforcing and expanding members' rights throughout this pandemic. Certain employers have been great and have provided us employees with continuous updates and have been transparent to this process, and while other employers have not. And rather than be proactive, they've been less than reactionary. I've got a couple examples of where we have leveraged our employers to expand our collective bargaining agreements and to further protect our Teamster sisters and brothers' rights. For example, business agent Craig Johnson has been active making such gains following Governor Walz declared emergency crisis to secure payment and usage of paid extraordinary pandemic leave. Similar to the Families First Coronavirus Act, but this was done actually before the Families First Act was put in place. Another example is President Sammy Gabriel reacted equally with an agreement in Public Works, thereby allowing 2 separate shifts or 2 separate groups to work and minimize the potential exposure of our Teamsters, which also included the recognition of contractual language and shift differential within the current collective bargaining agreement. And then last example for myself was in Stearns County. We had Teamster members who will now have the opportunity to front load their time off, their PTO, instead of using it as they accrue it over the year. So they'd be front loaded to its full maximum capacity, which you normally would get by the end of the year, as a current. These are accessed for the members that ask for it, and they don't need to use it, but they can definitely use it. So as those examples, those are just a couple small examples of what we've done recently and the gains that a few of us have made. But these gains were not just given to us. I know for the business agents that we've spoken with, the executive board members and Kelly & Lemons, our law firm, our brothers and sisters were taken to task by a lot of employers. So rather than these gains being made out of the kindness of the hearts of the employers, it's actually because of the hard-fought negotiations and respect that these employers have shown your union, your local union stewards, your local union negotiating committee members, and the gains that we've made throughout the collective bargaining process and throughout history. So it's definitely a testament to the strength of your local union and its leadership.
Thank you, Eric. I'm going to turn it over to your political coordinator and communications director, Gus Frumpke, for a legislative briefing.
Okay, thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. What I'm going to talk about first are the things that we know, such as the COVID response package that was passed by the state legislature on Saturday. And then secondly, we'll discuss the CARES Act, which was the federal response stimulus that was passed earlier, actually late last week. So what the state legislature did on Saturday was pass a $330 million spending bill, and it did the following. It establishes the COVID-19 Minnesota Fund. It creates peacetime emergency child care grants. It provides COVID-19 assistance for veterans. It supports food shelves and food banks. It expands resources for emergency services and homeless shelters. It expands support available to small businesses, and it extends disaster assistance for farmers who have losses due to COVID-19. I'm going to run down the CARES Act, which is the National Stimulus Act that was passed last week. What it means for the state of Minnesota was $2 billion from the federal government. And as President Sammy Gabriel said, it expanded unemployment benefits and added $600 a week to each recipient. And it also, there's $30.75 billion from the Fund for Education Stabilization, Fund for State, School Districts, Colleges, and Universities. It's $13.5 billion to allocate at their discretion to distribute based on the number of school and college-age residents, and $14.25 billion for colleges and universities, with half of that going to emergency financial aid grants to students. There were other items on the stimulus package, the CARES Act, money for food, emergency food and shelter programs, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, data tracking the coronavirus, COVID-19, and then grants, federal grants for child welfare services, and $1 billion to community service block grants to help community-based organizations provide social services and emergency assistance. The two big things that Teamsters Local 320 have been working on at the state legislature is the first responders work comp bill to provide first responders presumption under work comp who have contracted COVID-19, the coronavirus. Unfortunately, that bill has not been taken up. It has been blocked by the state Senate leadership. And what we know at this point is tomorrow there will be a working group of the state Senate to discuss these issues and further issues involving COVID-19. The group will be 4 Democrats and 4 Republicans. We'll meet tomorrow, April 2nd, Thursday, April 2nd. Hopefully the discussion will include the first responders bill. Secondly, the other issue is the school closures bill. The school closures bill will force school districts to keep people on payroll, hourly employees specifically. Basically, what Governor Walz's executive order is supposed to provide school districts to keep their hourly employees employed through the rest of the school year, or until the closure is lifted. But it looks more and more likely to be to the end of the school year. This is going to get really tricky, but some school districts don't believe the governor has the authority to do so, and are looking at possible layoffs. And so the school closures bill is another important item for Teamsters Local 320. We hope that it becomes a final bill that gets through the state Senate. The way that it works now, because the Senate and the House can no longer meet regularly for hearings, is the Senate Majority Leader, Senate Minority Leader, Speaker of the House, and the House Minority Leader and the Governor all have to agree on what bills they're going to take up in these remaining weeks of the state legislature. And if any one of those parties decides that they don't want a bill for whatever reason, they can essentially veto that bill being taken up in the remaining weeks of the state legislative session. Again, we're pressuring the state Senate to take up both bills, the first responders bill and the school closures bill. Again, the outcome is unknown at this point.
Thank you, Gus. Thank you, Gus, for the legislative update. Why don't we go ahead now manage the question and answer.
Okay, I got a couple of questions on the chat. Somebody wrote, due to our last contracts resolution, are we still going to get our pay raises and the back pay senior B&G worker? The collective bargaining agreements have been ratified by the Teamsters and the University of Minnesota, and wages, retroactive pay and benefits that have been negotiated have to be honored by both parties. And then Julie Jazowski, excuse me, I'm going to ruin that. Julie, she said close, thank you. She said she just received a memo from MMB about leave policies, HRLR policy 1440 revised as of today.
Julie, if you're still on the call, can you respond by letting me know whether you work for the executive branch of government or the judicial branch?
All right, we're going to open it up to questions and answers. You're going to have to push. Oh, USEF at Metro State.
So they are. That was expected that they were going to update that policy to mirror and enhance from what the federal policy did. So that was expected. We knew they were making that change, and that change is going into effect today. So that is correct. A new policy went out that enhanced what was previously put out for MUSAF and anybody else under the executive branch.
All right, we're going to begin Q&A. If you're online, you can just hit the Q&A button. If you're using the app, you can do the same. If you're calling in by your phone, you have to push *6 on your phone to participate.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Oops. Oh, there we go. Hello, you're on. Joseph? Hello, Joseph?
Yeah, hi, this is for the Hajj, not Joseph. This is my phone, but it's with my son, yeah. I have a question about the health insurance. I buy the health insurance from school and I pay $750 a month. If we lay off, how I have to do that?
You would have the ability to ask for a grant from the Teamsters Service Bureau, and you can either call our office or go on our website and get their phone number and make that application for that one of the $750 grant. So the Teamsters Service Bureau would be able to help you with that.
Okay, can I do that now, or I have to wait when they lay off?
Yes, you have to wait till you're laid off and you have the need.
Okay, thank you so much for your answering.
Thank you.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Hello?
Yay.
Yeah.
This is Kurt Swenson, Vice President.
Yeah, I'm just checking with, I just asked a question about the health insurance, And
Yeah, go ahead, Kurt.
Yeah, I just want to give a U of M update quick. If you look at the website, we posted on the website the pay where the raises go in effect, and you'll realize it in your May 6th check. The retro will be paid on the 5/20 check. But if you go onto the website, there's an update on there for people who are at the U of M. The contract should be signed next week sometime. We're still reviewing it, but it should be signed next week.
Hello, we have a caller on.
Hi, my name is Lisa. I have a question for you. I work in food service for a district, and they're saying, the first email we got from the superintendent said that if you're afraid to work, can't work during this thing, that we could use our sick days and then use them up, and then you would end up going on a leave. But now we are being told that we have to fill out a form, and the form goes to HR, and if you're not sick, if you're just afraid of getting the virus and putting yourself into a situation that you're around too many people and the kitchens are not big enough to socially distance by 6 feet, that we are not allowed to take our sick days now. The district will decide it case by case. Is this right, or can we just say, I have enough sick days to get through the year, I can't come to work because I don't want to get this?
Well, that's a little bit of a different circumstance. Our arbitrators have ruled that if you can prove that your health or your safety is at risk because of your work environment, that is a reasonable use of sick leave. So I would imagine if you took the time off work, the employer refused to pay your sick leave, we would have to access the grievance procedure to get you access to your sick leave. What I would do is contact your bargaining unit's business agent. I believe that's Josh Lohr, and have him contact the district and see if he can't work something out for you.
Okay, I'm going to get a question from online. It says, when are we getting back to contract negotiations for the court reporter unit? That's Kate Armson.
That's a good question, Kate. We had April 27th and 28th on the calendar, and with the governor's extension of shelter in place and to stay away from each other and the president's orders through the month of April, we had decided to, we will not be holding negotiations April 27th and 28th, but we are looking at how to do that online with each other, with our committees. Craig Johnson and I are working with the states, and we should have some resolution to when that will occur probably in the next few days. I know it's been a long time. If you've been at any of our meetings that we held in the last few months around the state, you know that we have several grievances racked up. We're as anxious as you are to get that contract ratified and voted and ratified on. But we don't want to push it and have something out there that you that we're not we know that you won't be happy with. So we're working on it. Look to your stewards for information.
One more question online, and then I'll move back to on the phone or audio. It says we are in open it's Kirk Oswald. It says we are in open negotiations with a 2.5% on the table. Is it likely management would pull the COLAs off the table?
Good evening, Kirk. I hope you're doing well and staying safe. These are difficult times, and having negotiated contracts all across the state for the last 21 years. Sure, anything is possible. We were just in negotiations in northwestern Minnesota as the COVID-19 first became a crisis, and the union's negotiating committee, agreed to resolve the contract dispute negotiations with the COLAs that were on the table. Because we're in an ever-changing economic environment right now. But your jurisdiction may be unique to another jurisdiction. So those are conversations, strategic conversations you should have with your local union's business agent and the other participants in your union's negotiating committee.
I'm going to move back to the audio questions.
Yeah.
Hello, you're on the queue.
Hi,
hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you can.
Hi, I had to pull my 2 children out of daycare at their pulmonologist's recommendations because they both have severe asthma. And I was wondering if there's anything that protects me or some sort of leave that I can use outside of vacation leave if I need to stay home with my kids.
Who do you work for?
I am a court reporter for the state of Minnesota in the judicial district.
So the judicial district has some different guidelines. I think that you I think I have your information, correct?
Yes.
Okay, let's plan on chatting tomorrow morning. We'll give you a call back tomorrow morning, and we'll chat about the judicial district and your specific instance.
Okay. Okay.
Thanks. Okay.
All right, we're going to the next question, audio question. Hello, you're on.
Madam President, brothers and sisters, I want to thank you for your leadership. I want to thank everybody for staying united during this critical time in our state as well as our country. The question I have is about the presumptive disability for the first responders. Is that, first of all, what is that Senate bill number? And then on top of that, does that pertain to the parking enforcement agents that would work underneath the University of Minnesota Police Department?
No, it would not, no, you wouldn't be affected by that. It's law enforcement, firefighters, emergency room nurses, but no, unfortunately your classification would not be affected by that bill. And
okay.
Yeah.
And what was that Senate bill number?
Hang on one sec.
We're grabbing that Senate file number for you right now.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Next question. Hello, you're on. Hello, Linda? Linda Hansen? All right, we're going to just move it on. All right, so then there's a couple other questions. There's Karen Olson. So as a person with critical lung disease, is there any way to know if I will be able to have insurance if the schools are closed after May 1? No.
So if you're laid off, you're going to need to contact the Teamsters Service Bureau with regards to access to health insurance. If you are laid off, you will have the opportunity, of course, to make COBRA payments, which we understand that creates an incredible hardship. Can you let us know what school district you work for?
St. Paul.
St. Paul. Okay, so for those who are on the line and work for St. Paul Public Schools, make sure you get a hold of your business agent, Josh Lohr. Josh and I know, are also in regular communication with regards to what's happening at St. Paul Public Schools, because we have made, or Josh has made, a formal request to the district to figure out what are St. Paul Public Schools' plan going forward through April into May and through the end of the school year.
Okay. I am a TA, and I'm not supposed to do any of the things that they're asking TAs.
I'm sorry, Karen, like I said, I'm not familiar with your very specific situation, so get a hold of Josh, and Josh will walk you through the steps that need to be taken to make sure that you're protected under the district's contingency plan and your rights are protected under your collective bargaining agreement.
And I'll just comment too. So we, Local 320 represents a lot of teaching assistants and paras across the state. And even for all of the other classifications that we represent, we all know that this is an extraordinary time. And if it was not going on and TAs or any other classifications are being asked to do different things, we would react differently. But this time, we need to be flexible. Certainly if they're asking you to do something that's unsafe, unsanitary, teach classes if you're a para or a TA, that's not okay. But we know that we have a lot of paras out there that are pitching in and packing food for kids with insecurity at their homes. And we know that we have a lot of TAs that are out there helping pack up bags of homework to send home with the kids, assisting their teachers still, in the classrooms, and putting work together like that. So we understand that our parents and teens and everybody else are asking to do really extraordinary efforts on behalf of the people that you serve, students and all the other people that you serve. So again, we appreciate you. We know you're all being asked to do extraordinary feats and different feats than you normally do as a public servant. If it's something that you don't feel is safe, let your business agent know. But we know that a lot of different things are going on out there right now.
So I was actually texted by someone who's on the, Connie Westland, who's on the call, and she wanted to ask a question about why is there opposition to the school closures bill? The Senate Republicans, they had said the reason that there's opposition is because they don't believe they should pay people who aren't working. It was that simple. They don't believe that if you're sitting at home because there's a reduction of work and you're still getting paid, that's a reasonable expectation. Unfortunately, not to put one of our good business agents on the spot, Roger Meunier from Thief River Falls, but he shared with me some information that the Thief River Falls district put out today. And they basically said the same thing, that they don't believe they should have to pay someone to sit at home.
Well, the really crappy part to that is these school districts are getting their funding. They're not, from not having school, they're not getting a decrease in their funding. So these school districts have the money as if you were still paid, working all day, every day. So there's no reason that our school employees should get a cut in pay, not get paid, not be worked, not get their health insurance. So, this bill is vitally important to many of our 320 members.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to go back to the audio. And hello, you're on. Hello. All right. Next question, Irvin. Hello, Irvin.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I've been pushing buttons. This is new to me. Even though I work I work on a computer. I actually brought my equipment home. First time ever in my 40 years. I only have one question, and I think Martin Goff may have already answered it for me, but for those listening. So I get lots of questions. Oh, by the way, anyone listening, I'm a Teamster steward since, about 1990 something. So it's been a while. I work for the Minneapolis Public Schools and with the drivers as a scheduler, but the drivers have been coming to me asking if they will be paid for, this is spring break for Minneapolis starts next week, I believe. And they're wondering, with all of these things in place with the COVID-19, would they be paid for spring break? Well, in all honesty, they would not have been if things are normal.
So under Irvin, this is Brian Aldies. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, I thought the next time I'd see you would be pictures of you down in Florida or something. I think
that's a whole nother story, Brian, and I'll talk to you one-to-one on that because there's been a slight change in planning. So I'll get you up to date with that.
So, Irvin, to answer your question, you consider it business as usual. So our expectation is that our members are going to continue to get paid by the schools. as if it were normal circumstances. So if you, for example, would not normally receive your wage during spring break, then I wouldn't expect to receive your wage during spring break. If you would normally receive your regular wages during spring break, then I would expect that you would continue to receive that wage. And, you know, I hope that answers your question, Irvin.
Yes, and I'll give you a little bit more detail. So it's not like there isn't work available because the district is delivering delivering meals daily, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
We just, my team of schedulers, we just routed for, I think close to 2,000 students so far, getting computers out to them. And so we need drivers to get that stuff out. So I think I just need to get the message to the drivers in partnering, sign up for that extra work if they want it.
Yeah, you know, I mean, this is for everybody, but we've had, you know, many discussions with, you know, the 130 plus employers that we work with across the entire state, and to this point, the majority of them are doing a very good job of redeploying their workforce. So if there's not a job that you could do at home, they're creating jobs in other areas so that people are able to continue to work.
Yes,
so
I appreciate it.
Let's go ahead and take the next question.
Josh Lord called in, and we're going to let him speak. Hey, Josh, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Josh, you want to talk a little bit about St. Paul Public Schools, the redeployment of work and the expectations of people getting paid and the concern over layoffs?
Sure. So right now the district's plan is they are not talking layoffs. For anybody that is with St. Paul Schools, with Hastings, with District 196, none of the schools that I represent are talking about layoffs. That's the good part of the story. The school year, as we all know it, is changed. Things are not going to be the same. And anybody that's holding on hope to going back in May, I can pretty much tell you I don't see that happening. The thing with St. Paul Schools is they are going to have the TAs do one of three things. They are going to staff the essential kid care sites, which are for the essential workers that have been mandated by Governor Walz. They will continue to do meal deliveries, which is also another mandate that came down from the governor's office. And the last thing that they will have TAs do is participate in the distance learning. How they're going to do that, that's the million-dollar question. And for the better half of 2.5 weeks now, I have been calling, emailing, texting, you name it, to district HR, and it's must be a super big secret because they don't want to tell anybody. But we have to adapt to this because your typical workday is going to change. And like Sammy said, as long as you're not leading a class online, then they're not breaking the contract per se. So I think St. Paul has been actually more receptive than some other school districts. They're actually paying a stipend of $3 an hour more than your hourly rate for working during this time. I have other districts that won't even entertain that idea. So that's kind of how the day is going to look for people going forward. But the district has said whether you work 2 hours, 3 hours, or 4 hours, you will get paid for the whole day. So hopefully that kind of clears it up.
Yeah, just one more thing. So SPPS has not been forthcoming about whether TAs will be employed through the end of the year. I'm working 35 hours a week and not sitting home doing nothing.
So the nice thing with all three of the St. Paul contracts that I have, we have what's called quarantine or catastrophic leave built into them. And so if you are someone that's high risk, my suggestion to you is get a doctor's note right away so that you can take advantage of the, they call it the FFCRA, the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, which provides you up to 2 weeks leave, and then our contractual language gives you another 2 weeks. That pays you into May. As soon as you get 1 day of pay into the month, you now have your health insurance paid for that whole month. The district has not talked about layoffs at all. Like I said, they are willing to, and I had a conference call with them this afternoon. They're willing to find work for all of their hourly employees to do. If it's something that someone can do, then they'll have you do it so that you can keep getting paid through the end of the school year. And then, obviously, we're hoping that come September, we'll be back to work kind of thing.
All right.
Thank you, Josh.
We have one more audio question. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
My question might probably got answered, but since we're not getting laid off for St. Paul Public Schools, but I was just wondering if we paid for insurance through the summertime, if we would still be able to keep our insurance if we did get laid off.
Yep, of course. They're not going to change any of the practices that they're doing. That's a contractual item. So yes, your summer insurance will continue what it always does.
Okay, thank you.
That's it.
I want to, this is Brian Aldies again. I want to thank everybody for their participation, and I want to thank all the contributors. For those of you who have accessed the local union's website and participated in the survey, thank you for your feedback and your input into the strategic planning process. For those of you who have downloaded the app, fantastic. For those who haven't, please visit the local union's website, download the app, or learn how to access the app from there. Or use your smartphone and go to your smartphone's app store and search Teamsters Local 320 and download the app where you can access the survey, and you can also access your bargaining unit's web page as well. The participation this evening was fantastic. We will be holding another local-wide Tele-Townhall on Tuesday, April 14th at 6 p.m. Tuesday, April 14th would normally be your local union's general membership meeting. Under the governor's order, public gatherings will not be allowed until May 1st, so we will go ahead and conduct a second town hall meeting at that time. One more item, the question with regards to the workers' comp bill and first responders. The Senate file number is SF 4425, House file HF 4515. I wish everybody the best. Have a fantastic evening, and please stay safe and healthy.